What was most helpful to you while growing up regarding your family and your education?
The thing that was most beneficial to me throughout my life in terms of my education or my family is I have to admit that I think I was a very fortunate person for several reasons. I won't elaborate on everything, but I will touch on a few points. My parents, my mom was 40, my father was 50 when I was born. And they had already had life experiences. They knew what they wanted out of life, and they were pretty much set in their life. And with that as a starting off point, they were able to bring me everywhere they went throughout the world. Different countries, different cultures that I was exposed to at a very young age. And I looked at myself and compared myself to friends that I had who did not have such experiences, and I felt very blessed. Also, my mom being from Honduras, when I was growing up in the summer times, for at least a month or 2 months, I would go and stay with my mom's family there in Honduras. As I got older, of course, the amount of time I could spend there shortened because I got so busy doing other things. But being an only child, not having any brothers and sisters, I had cousins. And they were truly my brothers and sisters, if you will. The baby cousin was a boy just like me, and the older cousins were all girls. And I and the baby cousin, the boy, would play together all the time and fight. And you know, boys will be boys. But looking back, that experience was so rich, and comparing the cultures of the Hispanic and the American cultures was wonderful. We would communicate very well. I had speech therapy. I was able to speak for myself, and I was fluent in Spanish and could write Spanish, about 30-40% of the time. So my cousins and I would communicate. I would speak in Spanish, and they would speak in English. And we would go back and forth. They would learn some sign language, some finger spelling, and some home signs. And we didn't have problems communicating at all. My family was always inclusive, always wanting to make sure that I knew what people were talking about, so I didn't feel isolated or alone. Sure, of course, there were times when I was left to myself in my own world, but I always knew that door was open and that my family would always keep me included. Sometimes it got to the point that I was telling them, hey, you don't have to worry about me, I'm fine. But the important thing here is that access was always available. And with that experience, with that exposure, my mind was open to so many different possibilities and so many different people that I met. I always had an open mind, and I did not judge people, and I think that's why, from my family experience at an early age.